Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I am Kevin Thomas, alongside John Epps, Jerel, Hendricks. Back on the board as always, here for our upper and lower state championships playoff preview show. John, at this point in the season, man, they're all big. Everybody's good. I cannot wait to break down this week's slate of games.
Yeah, we've got a couple favorites that have been bounced, so it really throws championship contenders out of the Final Four here. It could be anybody's game on a lot of these classifications.
Certainly going to be a lot of fun, man. We saw a lot of great games last week, a lot of close ones, a lot of thrillers, like you mentioned, some upsets as well. So set the stage for a great round 4 here for the upper and lower state titles. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. Also TikTok as well. That's MOVINCHAINS. Our website, movinchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and all podcast platforms. We do a live preview show each and every Tuesday night, 7:15 p.m. We'll be back next week for our state title preview show. Hopefully you guys will tune in for that as well. Throughout the week, we have teams of the week, players of the week, coach interviews, player interviews, food reviews, all kinds of great stuff. Hope you'll check us out each and every day for great high school football content covering the entire state of South Carolina. Be sure right now, just in time for Christmas, get your Moving the Chains merch. We've got some great stuff for you guys. Some great Richardson hats, gray fronts here. You got a black back, kind of a tan back. We've got a black front one as well, along with some other ones you can see on our Facebook and Twitter pages. We have those all posted there. You can email us info@movingchains.com or send us a DM on social media. Get you a Moving the Chains toboggan, a gray one, a black one. Great for those cold weather games. Great for next week down in Orangeburg. We've got some Moving the Chains stickers. Looks great on your laptop, your car, your Yeti cup, whatever you want to put it on. We've got some awesome T-shirts, a black T-shirt, a gray T-shirt like John's wearing, a navy blue, and a pink as well. Also a couple sweatshirt colors, a gray version like this, and also kind of a stone kind of white version for you to rep the boys as well. We'd love to have you order some of that. We'll get it to you. Quick shipping, quick turnaround, just in time for Christmas. It makes a great Christmas gift. And like we say every week, guys, we're trying to grow this, trying to give more and more coverage to the whole state of South Carolina. And you guys repping this merch, growing the program certainly would help doing that. So appreciate your support. Email info@movingchains.com or send us a DM to order anything you would like. John, any other thoughts from you? Jerel, any thoughts from you or from the chat before we get rolling here with our Kona games of the week in the upper and lower state championship round?
I hope we have just as good a games this week as we had last week. Last Friday was a lot of fun.
Certainly was, man. I caught a great one, Loris and Newberry. Look forward to talking about those that Loris group here in a little bit. Brandon says, what's up, fellas? Good games coming up. Got to give Fairfield-Central credit. Came to Clinton and whooped the Red Devils. They certainly did, man. That Griffins bunch looked really, really good there for Coach Davis. Courtney says, hey, guys. Good seeing you, Courtney. Appreciate you. Your Bears continue to roll, man. Big one this week for Upper State. Daniel says, let's go BE. Talk about a juggernaut right now, John. The Red Raiders playing some great football down there for Coach Crosby. Stephen Pierce's Westside Rams back in the house, back in Upper State 3 years in a row. And a lot of folks probably didn't see that coming after about week 3 or 4, but the Rams have been rolling since that point. Good to see you, Stephen. Terrence says, good evening, guys. Hampton County in the house. They are playing great football, too. Coach Hannah's bunch ready to rep the lower state this week. Kendrick says, big red machine coming through. BTA tour continues Friday in Bamberg. They got a big one against Cross. Thank you, Kendricks, for checking in with us tonight. Marie says the Peach Fields, man, that's going to be a big home field advantage for those boys on Friday night. Bulldog says the same thing as well, man. Look forward to that Strom Thurmond Griffins matchup. We'll talk about here in just a minute. Deuces, what's up? Good seeing you, Deuce. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Kristen says, let's go. Somerville finished strong. A fun rematch there in 5A. Somerville and James Island will break down here in a minute as well.
Let's get into these Kona games of the week, guys.
Our Kona games of the week, Carolina Orthopaedic and Neurosurgical Associates games of the week. 5 of the biggest ones across the state. And like I mentioned earlier, they're all big at this time, man. You know, we had a hard time picking 5. So if we didn't pick your game, I promise we're going to get to it. I promise we're going to break it down. But we had to get 5 just for the graphic and whatnot, of course. But, John, let's start in the 1A ranks, a 1A matchup that we saw just a few weeks back. And that's Lewisville, the Lions traveling to Lamar, taking on Coach Boyd's Silver Foxes, a matchup that a lot of folks probably didn't see coming here as the playoffs began a few weeks ago, John.
Yeah, you know, 2 very good teams that have had very good seasons. Lamar, they are officially back on the map. is a great program again. Good to see Lamar good, playing good football here late into the season, playing on Thanksgiving weekend. Always a big sign, a big positive. I'm not sure what to think about this game. I like Lamar because they already won this game. It was at home. They get to play at home again. But Lewisville is coming off the biggest win in 1A football when they beat Abbeville 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's, if Lewisville can do what they did in Abbeville 2 weeks ago, I don't know. Can anyone beat them in 1A? I don't know. I'm leaning no, but the problem is, can you replicate that twice in a season? Because that is really, really good football. Probably a little bit of good luck. I didn't get to see the game, but you win a 1-point game. You got to have some things go your way. This should be an outstanding ball game. Hopefully we see another 1-score game. I'm going to go with the Silver Foxes being at home. I think the home field advantage, having that confidence of knowing, hey, we've already beat these guys. It wasn't that long ago. You got the excitement about being back. You're going to have a good crowd at home. I like the Silver Foxes to pull this one out.
Lamar, a big win last week, 44-22 over HKT. A pretty good HKT team there as well, John. Averaging 41 points per game on offense, 15 on defense for the season. Quarterback Zori Pierce, a real dual threat, one of the best quarterbacks in the state, regardless of classification. 8 for 14, 263 on just 8 completions, 4 touchdowns. Nigel Eady, he kind of leads the rushing attack there for Coach Boyd. Receiver Juju Morris, 3 for 122 last week, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, DQ Green, 14 tackles, a TFL. Travis Durant, 11 tackles, 2 TFLs. And Devon Locust, 9 tackles, 3 TFLs. Another good player is defensive end, Mont Williams. On the Lewisville side, a big win over C.A. Johnson, 42-14. Averaging 34 on offense, 18 on defense. Jalen Culp has been great since he stepped in at the quarterback spot for them. Had a touchdown pass, 2 touchdown rushes last week. Running back Antonio Price, 17 for 171, 2 TDs. Jordan Strong also ran it 10 times for 87 and 2 more touchdowns. Playmaker Jacorian Hauser, he's what makes that group go. Did not play last week. They had a little ankle issue there. They held him out. He's back this week. He's, pretty much single-handedly won that game over Abbeville late in the fourth quarter with a couple late touchdowns for that Lewisville bunch. He's a star for the Lions. He'll get involved rushing and receiving. He has 18 rush touchdowns, 4 receiving touchdowns on the season. Defensively, Jay Sean Culp had 10 tackles. Strong, J.B. Buchanan with 2 TFLs, and Tymon Hughes are also playmakers there for Coach Usher. This will be a fantastic ball game, John. Like you mentioned, back in Week 10, Lamar won this game 20-14, a very tight ball game. And the key stat in that one, in the first meeting, Pierce and Edie, both 100-plus rushing yards for Lamar. That was really big in that game. And you flip it over, Lewisville was held to negative rushing yards. Don't quote me on that, but that's what Max Prep says. I'm going to go with it right now. So Lamar, 2 guys 100-plus, Lewisville in the negative rushing number there. That's tough to overcome that, and you still play them to a 6-point game. So in my opinion, I feel like Lewisville, you probably didn't play your best a couple weeks back against this group. You've been, wanting to get another chance. I think you got to play a little bit better. Just you're going to rush for positive yards, right? You got to think you're going to. I think Lewisville gets it done this time, but I think 21-20, 28-21, a really close game. But I like Lewisville going on the road. I think they win this game. It might be partially because I picked them the first time they didn't win. I'm trying to get a little revenge here. I don't know. But I like the Lions in a close one on the road, man. But it should be a great football game. Like I said, a matchup that we didn't see coming when the playoffs started. But, man, I'm glad we've got it because this could be a one of the top ball games in the state on Friday. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on Lamar and Lewisville?
Yeah, this one's tough. You say it every week. It's hard to beat a team twice, the same team twice. And this one's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna pick Lamar to do it. I think this is their time. I think they're gonna make it happen. But I am so impressed, I gotta say, with this Lewisville bunch, like John alluded to, them knocking off Abbeville, getting to this point. And this is a Lewisville program that we've talked about a lot the last few years. And I feel like they've had, and this is no disrespect, I feel like the other teams may have had more talent, but this team is actually getting the results. And that's what really matters. So I really like this Lewisville bunch. I just like the Lamar team a little bit more. I like them playing at home. They know they can win. I mean, shot to go to the state championship. It's going to be jam-packed. I think it's a 1-score game again. Going to be a great crowd, and I wish I was going to be down there to see this one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And I think this is the same way we picked it last time. I think you and John both had Lamar, and I had Lewisville the first time around. So maybe we'll see how it goes. But then,
secret sauce.
And it's off this Lions group too, because they had such a tough time. Middle of the season, you lose back-to-back games, Fairfield-Central, Andrew Jackson. You have the game against McBee canceled last minute. You miss the game there. To turn around what they've done in region play in the playoffs has been really impressive for Coach Usher's bunch. Hats off to him. And on the flip side, Lamar, year one for Coach Boyd, man. A Lamar program that, like you said, John, is always a contender. Haven't quite made that next step back to the state title in a few years. They're just a knock away this year, man. Got a great chance at it. It should be a fantastic ball game. What's the chat saying, Jerel, about this matchup? Skyland says, what's your flaws? Because I didn't go. Sorry, Skyland. That's on me, man. The Wolverines were 2-0 with me in attendance. Couldn't make it happen. Sorry, buddy. Tough one there for your group. Jonathan says, Lewisville will win, and they deserve it. Tony says, Lamar. Deuce says he likes Lamar's offense and the quarterback, Zori Pierce. Pierce is a playmaker, man. He could play for anybody in this state. He is a legit player. Courtney's going Lewisville 23-20.
Like that.
Deidre says, boy, I'm glad John picked against us. Go Lions. I love it, Deidre. 3 touchdowns called back for Lewisville the first game, too. That's a big difference maker, obviously, in a 6-point ball game like it was. Moses is going Lamar with the win.
Also got some other comments, too, sprinkled in.
Moses, good seeing you. I appreciate you. Your Powdersville Patriots continue to roll, man. Big matchup here today. Trevor says, what's up, guys? Go Rams. The West Side squad still rolling, too. Katisha says, Bamberg Earhart Red Raiders. They're still in it as well, Katisha. Jonathan says, Red Foxes are out. Got to see the Darlington County team. Go Silver Foxes. I like that. Duran says, Fairfield looks real different. Man, we'll get to that game in a minute, Duran. They are playing great football. Justin says, Lamar be tough at home. They always are, man. That's a great atmosphere there for the Silver Foxes. Vernon says, Lewisville in a close one.
Yeah, it's going to be split here, so it's going to be a lot of fun to keep track of this one. So, shot to go to Orangeburg. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to the next one.
And I will say, Jerel and John, I'm upset we're missing the stakes on Friday for the playoff for stakes on, I guess, Thursday night. I don't know when they're going to do it this week for Lamar, but I need one of those stakes off the grill, man. They got it going on down there. Our second Kona game of the week, a 2A matchup we're going to go to now, John. That Fairfield-Central team we just mentioned, they're going to Strom Thurmond, going to the Peachfields. The Griffins at 10-3, the Rebels at 11-2. A massive matchup here. Fairfield-Central, a big 42-7 win over Clinton last week, averaging 36 on offense, 15 allowed on defense. Quarterback Caden Diggs, 6 for 9, a buck, 53 touchdowns. Also ran for 75 and another touchdown last week. Running back Derek Cameron, 78 yards and a TD. Receiver Ty Shannon, he is a speedster, 3 for 87, 2 touchdowns. Walker and Johnson are also threats for that group. Defensively, Drew Walker, Chance Hemphill, and Kalen Hope he's a big-time player at DB there for them. And then also Shannon and Brenton Mack, they also had picks last week. They play key roles there for Coach Davis's bunch. On the Strom Thurmond side, a 31-8 win over Chester, averaging 38 on offense, 14 allowed on defense. Quarterback Bryshawn Lee, a guy that's played a lot of football, man, a veteran quarterback there. He knows what it's like to be in these big spots. Will be a key this week for Coach Webb's bunch. Running back, Deontay Phillips, 21 for 124, 3 touchdowns last week. But they have a lot of guys that can carry the football. Zy Rouse, Caden Wigfall, Trinquillis Mathis. All those guys can get touches and will get touches probably on Friday night. The receiver group, Shaheed Williams, Braylon Searles, and Caleb Simpkins. Defensively, while Travius Duger had 13 tackles in a TFL last week, Bryson Coleman, 6 tackles, 2 TFLs. Greg Moore, Mason Johnson, key players. And then Caleb Simpkins is the guy that really makes it go on the back end, kind of roams around there, patrols that secondary. Really good athlete, really good player there on the defensive backfield there for the Rebels. Also had a pick in that win over Chester. John, 2 teams that, have a lot of speed, I would say, for one. What do you like in this game here?
Yeah, you look at a Fairfield-Central team, and this is kind of like, well, not exactly like the 1A game that we just talked about, but similar in that, Lewis was coming off the biggest win in 1A. Well, you look at Fairfield-Central, they might have the most impressive win last week in 2A, the way that they beat Clinton. You could say, I think you could argue, hey, out of the 4 teams in 2A, they're the hottest right now. You got to get a Strom Thurmond. And, man, these guys have played so good all year. They've lost in 2 games, but that was to a Georgia team and to North Augusta.
Yep.
Other than that, they've had one score game. They beat Saluda. Other than that, they've blown everybody off the map, and they get to play at home. They play with an attitude. We see it every week in the comments. I mean, the whole CSRA, they've got an attitude. Hey, we're going to win. We're better. And I think Fairfield-Central is playing better football right now, and they might be the better team. I don't think they win. I think Strom Thurmond wins this game at home with the crowd and with the attitude that they have. I think we're going to see a really close game, a really good game. But I see this Strom Thurmond team. I see them forcing some mistakes on the Griffins, creating something defensively in special teams to separate themselves and win this game.
If you're Strom Thurmond, you got to defend the pass. That's what really hurt Clinton last week. Fairfield-Central hit them for some big plays over the top, really broke that game open. You got to be ready for that. And I think if you're Fairfield-Central, you want to do that early on. Like, you want to try to take that crowd out of the ballgame. If you can hit an early pass play, that could be a key there to kind of quiet down the Peachfields a little bit if you can make that happen. A key for me, and I mentioned him earlier, Bryce Sean Lee. What could he do in the pass game? You look back at last week, Fairfield-Central held a really good Clinton rushing attack to just over 100 yards. Well, I think they held Javen Cook to around way under his average. It was like 3-point-something yards per carry. Really held him in check there. Not something we expected going into that ball game. Like, Clinton just ran the ball on everybody. Fairfield-Central did not let that happen. So I think if you're Strom Thurmond, you got to know they're going to try to take away Phillips and Wigfall in that group rushing the football. What can Lee do? Can he connect with Simpkins? Can he connect with Searle? Can he hit Williams on a couple out routes and whatnot? You got to get that pass game going. I think that's going to be a key for Strom Thurmond this week. Going to be a great ball game. And I like you said, I think that home field advantage is the real deal for Strom Thurmond. I mean, that's a tough place to play. The crowd gets into it, especially this time of year, man. They are all about going back to the state title. I have not been there in quite a while. You've been right on that doorstep, it feels like, the last few years. Haven't quite made that next jump. This could be the week that it happens. Jerel, what do you like in this game, man? This one is one of the tougher ones of the week to pick for me. I feel like these teams are so evenly matched. Two really teams that have a lot of speed, also have a lot of size up front as well, it feels like.
I like both these teams a lot. That's what I like. I mean, again, it's tough to pick. The reason why I'm going to pick Strom Thurmond in this game is the home field advantage. I think that's a difference maker. I think that's going to the Peachfields. I think if this game, with how this Fairfield-Central bunch has been playing the last few weeks, if it were there over in Winsboro, I'd pick them probably to win this game. But I think that home field advantage, that 12th man, is going to lead some credence. Again, another program, two programs really, that have been knocking on the door the last few years. They're going to be able to bust through and go to Orangeburg, so it's going to be great for those communities and those kids. They're going to absolutely love it. But I also go back, I mean, a couple years ago, we saw this Fairfield-Central program play a really good gray bunch, and just remembering the looks on those faces from the coaching staff and the players and things like that, they know how close they probably were then, and I think they're going to be able to get it done this time around. And but yeah, it's hard to pick against Fairfield-Central, especially with that incredible performance that they had last week against Clinton, because I thought Clinton, we got about halfway through the season, regular season, that Clinton was destined to go back to back, and Fairfield-Central said not even a chance. So it's gonna be interesting.
This is a tough one for me because I think preseason I picked Strom Thurmond out of the upper state, but something about Fairfield-Central is really jumping out to me, and it worries me too, because you look at last week where Strom Thurmond handled Chester pretty easily, and Chester is a team that beat Fairfield-Central back early October. I know you can't do too much transitive property stuff, but it's still, it counts for something, right? It just, I don't know, man. I feel, I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard to pick because I think it's the location. I think if this game was in Fairfield-Central, I would pick them with ease. Again, I was the same with you. Like with that Chester game, I kind of left. We had them in our top five. They were right there in that top five, top three, and then they lost to Chester, which was not really a close game. And I kind of thought maybe Fairfield-Central's not ready because they're a young bunch too. That's something that we need to mention here. This is a young team.
Back end playing for them. Yeah.
I mean, lost their stud into Darian Greer last year, who really took over for them in a lot of games. So I mean, they've really come together. So it's a tough pick.
This is one of those college game day ones where you don't want to have the graphic all as one side, but we're going to do it. I'm taking Strom Thurmond. I think Caleb Simpkins playing DB, not going to allow that big pass play. I think he's going to keep kind of the top on the defense there and kind of keep those guys in check a little bit there. And then I think we get just enough plays made from Phillips and Lee on offense. I think Strom Thurmond wins this game at home. Should be a fantastic ball game. I could certainly see it flipping, and we all look like idiots next week. But I think right now we're all going the Rebels, man. Let's do it.
Won't be the first time or the last time.
Brandon says Strom Thurmond 31-27. He's pulling for his former classmate Andrew Webb 31-28. Strom Thurmond says Travis Smith. Courtney's got Fairfield 35-17. Dion 28-17 for Strom Thurmond. Terrence is picking a Strom Thurmond Hampton County championship. Deuce has got Strom Thurmond 28-21. Rebs going to state. Vernon says Strom 35-14. Strom Thurmond 35-14. Jerel's going Fairfield-Central for the win. Zach says Rebs in the Peach will be a different smacker. If Fairfield gets you in a hole, it'll be a long night. Stop the deep ball. You have a good chance to win. What else says Peach Fields are where the dreams come to die, man. We hit hard. And we're leaning on that Friday, it feels like. Zach says can't go against the fried bologna sandwich at the Peach Fields.
It's hard to beat.
I will say you can go against a hot dog. I've had better. You guys got to work on that down there in the Peach Fields. Duke said the environment will have the Fairfield group in shambles. I will say Fairfield just went to Clinton, and Wilder Stadium's not an easy place to play either. So they're used to being on the road. Duran's got Fairfield's too fast for Strom Thurmond. Larry says Fairfield 28-20.
Yeah, a lot of different picks here. So I mean, this is a tough one. They're all going to be tough to pick this time of the year. But let's go to the next one, guys.
Oh man, I cannot wait for that game. Let's move to the 3A ranks now, John. In our game of the week out of that class, a team that I got to see firsthand last week, the Loris Lions, 13-0, traveling to the 11-2 Oceanside Collegiate Land Sharks. Loris, a big 51-21 win over Newberry last week, John, averaging 49 on offense, 13 allowed on defense per game. Oceanside Collegiate blanked a solid Dillon squad, 42-0. They're averaging 41 on offense, 16 allowed on defense. We saw this game last year, round 3 of the playoffs. Oceanside handled Loris pretty easily, 42-7. John, do the Lions get a little revenge this year to get a little get back against the Land Sharks? What do you like in this matchup down in Charleston?
I love Loris and I love Oceanside. Great programs, fun, and two really fun teams to watch.
Yes.
You want to see a defensive line and a defense really get after it. And then on the other side of the field, you see a good quarterback making plays. That's Loris. I mean, that is them to a T. Really fun team to watch. Really good brand of football they play. They play hard. They have exciting style of play. And then Oceanside is just like, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. They're just, it's like, well, I don't want to make a weird example here, but it's not fair sometimes in a lot of these games. They played a really good Dillon team last week and non-competitive, and I'm not that surprised. You know, this is what they do. They dominate people. You know, they're an incredible group. They've got a great quarterback. They're well coached, and they just don't have a weakness. You know, they've got good size. Speed wise, they're not slow. They're big. They've got experience. They've got some swagger that comes from the quarterback position that we've seen. They've got it all, and they're really, really talented. I don't want to take away from Loris and what they've done as a program and as a season. I don't see him beating Oceanside. I don't see him beating them. I would love to see this be a 7 to 10 point game. I don't even know if we see that. I think Oceanside is that good.
Loris, I mentioned last week the big one over Newberry. Moon Jerel, listen to this stat line, John. 17 for 23, 448, 5 touchdowns against a, once again, previously unbeaten squad they took on last week there. A team that was averaging, allowing, I think, like 14 points per game. They put up 51 on those guys. Running back Deuce Stevens had a touchdown. And then they have so many weapons out wide. You know, we mentioned Roderick Percha, Khalid Sherman. They can also run the football. Percha, a reception touchdown, a kickoff return touchdown. You got Jacoby and Lewis, had 4 for 125, 2 touchdowns. Khalid Sherman, 2 for 63, 2 touchdowns. Makai Bell, Khalil Sherman as well. Offensive line has 4 multi-year starters, do a good job up front. But they did have trouble running the football last week. I think they had around 50 yards total. Couldn't really get it going on the ground against that Newberry team. Defensively, the defensive line led by Landon Connor and Demaria Thurmond. Ethan Shaw had 9 tackles through 3 TFLs. J. Dalton Todd, 10 tackles. Then Lewis, Bell, and Sherman on the back end. like we said all year, man, this is Loris bunch for Coach Mance that is a really veteran group, a team that has kind of learned how to win the past couple of years. They really expect to win now. Super athletic, a super talented team, very dangerous as well with what they've kind of put together this run they've had the last few years. On the Oceanside side of things, quarterback Aiden Manavian, 15 for 20, 274, 3 touchdowns last week. Running back Zakai Muncie, 11 for 68 and a touchdown. Receiver Terrence Johnson, he's having a monster season, 1,000 yards, 16 TDs so far. But last week, Anthony Williams had 7 for 123, 2 touchdowns. Renew and Webb are also weapons. Defensively, a really good front seven with Mike Jones, Sawyer Arnold, Joey Harriet, Reese Meredith, and Roe Parson. The back end with Michael Strickler and Cole Gaspar. A lot of weapons there for Coach LaPrad's bunch. In this game last year, Manavian went for 322 and 5 touchdowns for Oceanside. If you're Loris, you mentioned it, John, you feel like, I mean, this is kind of this is the giant. Like Oceanside is the team that we've had number one in our poll all year long. A lot of folks have as well, and which is obviously rightly earned there. If you're Loris, it's a game where you maybe need a kickoff return touchdown, or maybe you need a pick six or a fumble return. You need something kind of crazy to happen to maybe kind of spark you guys. I think a key for them is going to be getting off to a fast start. Last week, they were up 16-0 early on the Newberry team. They kind of jumped them early, and that was a really big plus. I think if you could do that to Oceanside, maybe you kind of put them in a little pressure cooker they hadn't been in before, and that might be a key there for the Lions. It's going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out. But my worry for Loris, though, is that last week they couldn't really run the football. And I mentioned Oceanside has a really good front seven, and I'm worried about that. Can Oceanside pressure Jerel? Can they stop the run? But, John, as you know, as I know, Moon Jerel, one of the best in the state at playing off schedule, playing those kind of, hectic plays there. And, when he breaks the prop pocket, when he steps up, he doesn't look to run for 5 yards. He doesn't look to hit a crosser for 6 or 7 yards. He's looking for a big play. And they hit a lot of them to Lewis and Percha and that crew last week. And they do that all season long, man. They have some big-time playmakers. If he can do that, I think they've got a real shot. But it's going to be tough. It's a tall task. If you guys look back on our page, I interviewed Coach Greg Mance post-game last week. And he said it at the end. He's like, this Oceanside group has a lot of talent. I mean, they've got playmakers everywhere. He knew it, and I think everybody in the state knows it. But, Loris, this is your time, man. If you want to be a big dog, you got to come in and win this game. I noticed last week that they've all got shirts they wear that says unfinished business. And that's a big, that's kind of been their motto all year long. Like, they know they got to round 3, and they got the doors blown off last year. And they don't want that to happen again. Like, they are setting themselves up for this big matchup, and they want to win, and they think they can do it. Can they? I don't know. I don't know. I will say this, in his 4 years of playing football, I don't know if I'll pick against Aiden Manavian as a quarterback. And I think I'm going to lean Oceanside again to win this game. I hate to say that. You guys know how much I love Loris. You know how high I'm on that Lions bunch. But I think Oceanside at home, with what he can do at the quarterback spot, I think they win. And I think that front seven really controls the game for Oceanside. I think the Land Sharks move on to another state title game. Jerel, what do you think? What's the chat saying? I don't know. What do you like, man?
I'm not even going to attempt to bury the lead here. Give me Oceanside in this one. You kind of stole my number one talking point here. As long as Aiden Manavian is quarterback and under center for those guys, I'm not picking against him. He's a type of player where when the lights get brighter, he plays better. We've seen it from the beginning. Obviously, that coming out party in the state championship game a couple years ago. And then to complement him, he's got weapons galore, great offense and defensive line. I mean, it's just a complete team here, and that's no slight. Loris is right there. I mean, as far as like, they have a lot of talent, a lot of experience on that team, but we're talking about an Oceanside bunch where we're talking about them being the best team in the state. We're not talking about them being the best team in 3A. We're talking about everybody. So gonna pick Oceanside. Love what Loris has done, especially the last few years. Not saying that they don't have a shot in this game. I think you really got to lean on, turnovers, special teams, things like that. But again, it's just an Oceanside bunch that's just extremely good. They're a really good football team. They're well coached and talent all over the place.
And you look at the matchup, I mean, guys, I think Loris may be one of the teams that has enough athletes out wide to somewhat do something with the Oceanside offense. Like, I mean, all those guys, another worry too, a lot of those guys play both ways for for Loris. Excuse me. I think you have 7 guys who play both ways. That worries me a little bit in a game like this. But you got Lewis and you got Bell and you got both Shermans. I mean, you got Percha. You've got some guys on the back end who maybe can contain some of that speed Oceanside's guy. I don't know, but it's going to be a tall task for sure for Coach Manch's bunch on Friday.
Hey, but yeah. One point I was going to make: the big dog in 1A has fell. The big dog in 2A has fallen as well. Could 3A be next?
The only thing is, this guy has knocked off the big dog in 5A D1.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah,
what's the chat saying to this one? Travis has got Oceanside 35-17. Terrence says Oceanside's different. Oceanside with the big win. Matt says Loris with the upset. The two brothers will get it done. Khalid and Khalil, I love it. Hey, big time hoopers as well. They're fun to watch on the basketball court too. Justin's got 35-29 Loris. Nathan says hard to stop Anthony Williams and Terrence on the outside OCA. Yeah, Anthony, a huge game last week. Terrence has had a monster season. Some really good weapons there. But look, I can't wait to see Lewis and that crew match up against those guys. Courtney's going with the upset. Loris 24-20. Matt says Loris the upset and win. Zach says, when you have the nickname Moon, you're shocking the state so you can win the state this year. I love it, Zach. Moon Jerel, man, one of the a great player, great interview post game last week too. Great talking to him. Dion's got 35-21 Loris.
A lot of people calling for the upset. Excuse me. We'll see if it actually happens.
Now, is this more of they think it's going to happen, or they want it to happen so their team can win in 3A? That's the question, Jerel.
I think it's a lot of they want it to happen. But let's go to the next game, guys.
Our fourth Kona game of the week, a 4A matchup here, John. The game that you and I will be at on Friday night. That's Gray Collegiate, 11-2, traveling to take on the 12-1 South Florence Bruins. Gray Collegiate, a last-second field goal to defeat Hilton Head Island, 31-28 last week, averaging 41 on offense, 15 allowed on defense. Quarterback, freshman Xavier Wright, 16 for 29, 250 and a touchdown. Running back Trayvon Williamson, a huge game, 28 for 231, 2 more tuds. Receiver Royce Williamson, 3 for 64 and a touchdown. Corey Gleaton, 8 for 131, and Hazari Gant, also a weapon out wide for them. Defensively, Michael Bulware, 16 tackles, 2 TFLs. Caleb Razor, 12 tackles. JP Sweat, 12 tackles, a TFL and a sack. Holmes and Cartwright also contributors there. And then hats off again to Weston Mims on that game-winning field goal for Coach Bryant's bunch. On the South Florence side, 49-14 over North Augusta. Jumped on them early and really dominated that game throughout, averaging 45 on offense, 12 on defense. Quarterback Messiah Jackson, 4 for 6, 75 yards and a touchdown. 2 touchdowns. Nope, 1 touchdown. Sorry, I can't read my writing here. Also had 10 for 55 on the ground, another touchdown there. Running back Cam James, 19 for 80 and a TD. Also had 3 catches for 68 and another touchdown. Gabe McLaughlin, 9 for 30 and a touchdown. Receiver June Perkins and Malik Robinson are weapons for them. Defensively, like we said last week, so many weapons. Warnell Prue, 8 tackles. Willie Kennedy, 7 tackles. Terry Gordon, 8 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks. And how about this stat line, guys? Amari Reeves, 3 INTs, 2 of which were pick sixes, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and 3 PBUs. 3 touchdowns from the defensive backfield for Amari Reeves. Huge game there for him. John, this Gray Collegiate team, I feel like it's kind of flown under the radar all year long. We've had them in our poll since they beat North Augusta. They got a couple early losses to James Island and Dutch Fort, but they've really continued to improve, I feel like. The freshman quarterback, Xavier Wright's gotten better and better. We know what South Florence is. We know what kind of team they're going to be. They're playing for lower state. I think this is their 4th year in a row playing for this title for Coach Marlowe. Can the new kids on the block, per se, in Gray Collegiate have something for South Florence? Or the Bruins roll again? What do you like on Friday night over in Florence?
I feel like if 95% of the programs in 4A, I feel like if Gray was playing them, I'm taking Gray because of the program they are and how well they're coached, how they carry themselves, the way they play. It's clean football. It's complimentary football. They're another team that doesn't really have any weaknesses. We're hearing that a lot this week, or at least in my head, I am. South Florence, same way. I don't bet against the Bruins typically because they're well coached. They don't really have a weakness, and they can win in multiple ways. They can win with their defense. If they have to throw the ball a little bit, they can throw the ball enough to win the game. They like to run the ball, like to use that physicality and size they have to push you around. So these two teams playing together makes it really difficult to pick. Gray's been playing great. They've made a great run. And South Florence, on the other hand, I think South Florence is better. I think they're a better team. I don't know that I'm not going to say one is more talented than the other, but I think South Florence is just a better team. I give a lot of props to Coach Marlowe because we see, I mean, he's had some great players. The Sellers brothers are connecting to each other. It seems like on a weekly basis in the SEC for touchdowns. He's had some great players, and they don't miss a beat. And it's really incredible what he has been doing over at South Florence. I think they continue it Friday night. I can't wait to go to this game. It's a good environment. Every time I've been there, great people, good environment. This should be a really good game. I like the South Florence offense to make a couple more plays. I think the Gray defense, while it's good, I think the South Florence offense is enough better than the Gray defense than the other way around, than the Gray offense and the South Florence defense. I like that matchup for the Bruins offensively a little bit better than I do for Gray on the other side of the football. I think that's going to be the difference. I think we say South Florence defense is going to make plays to win the game in these types of situations. I think the South Florence offense makes enough plays in this game to make the difference.
I'm really intrigued to see what Gray Collegiate does offensively. We mentioned Trayvon Williamson, the big game last week. And typically you think of South Florence, think about them kind of stopping the run, like a big physical group there. But if you're Gray Collegiate, how much do you trust your freshman quarterback? Like, do you want to let him throw it 25, 30, 35 times in a game like this? I don't know. That's a lot to put on his shoulders. So really intrigued to see what they do with Trayvon Williamson and that crew. To maybe you get some other guys involved, run some reverses, some jet sweeps with Gant and Royce Williamson. I don't know. Really intrigued to see Coach Bryant's game plan on offense and how they want to attack that Bruin defense, because that's a big question for me. An X factor in this game is a Gray Collegiate return game. I think last week, Hilton Head Island didn't kick it deep a single time, and that's for good reason. If I have these stats right, Gray Collegiate averages over 45 yards on kickoff returns, over 45 yards on punt returns, John. So you don't want to kick the ball to this War Eagle group. If the Bruins are brave and do it, a big return in a game like this could certainly turn the tide in the favor of that War Eagle squad, but that could be a big plus there if they can get a big return somehow in this game. But you mentioned South Florence, man, that they want to dominate line of scrimmage, what they typically do, especially on offense. They run the football with Jackson and James and that crew there. They'd make just enough plays over the top to Perkins or Robinson. This team is so good, man. They lost one game to Northwestern earlier on in the year. They beat a Somerville team who's still playing. They've won 11 games by 20 or more points. Like, they've just dominated teams all season long. I think Gray Collegiate, the young squad they are, going on the road to South Florence, be a little too much there. I think the Bruins at home win this football game if they move on to another state title. I like this game a lot, John. I think the Bruins are just a little more seasoned, I guess you could say, right now that they've been there. There's something to be said for playing these games before and no one to taste it to that next level. I think that's a big plus for the Bruins. I think they win this game at home. Jerel, what do you like in this matchup? What's the chat saying about the War Eagles and the Bruins?
Man, I like both of these programs a lot. I like both of these coaches a lot too. Coach Bryant, yes. Coach Marlowe, two of the best in the business here. But I like South Florence a little bit more in this particular ball game. Look at common opponent. You see both of them, and I hate to beat up on North Augusta. I know there's a lot of North Augusta fans in the chat, but they both kind of dominated that program. But when it comes to like the keys to the game, what I like to look at here, South Florence playing at home. The experience factor, especially at the quarterback position. You have Messiah Jackson, who has won a state title, played in a lot of high leverage games against. I love Xavier Wright. I think he's going to be great. He's a freshman going into a big time game like this. So I just like that experience factor in playing these games. And then also too, with this South Florence bunch, we always, talk about how they're physical, how they grind out on offense, but I love their defense as well, because they're always good on all three levels. It's not just a situation where, they can take away the run or just take away the pass. They're typically good on all levels. So I think we're going to see that again, especially with a younger bunch from this great collegiate squad. So give me the Bruins in this one. Surprise, surprise. But I think they're going to be able to handle business when it comes down to it.
Should be a lot of fun on Friday.
I've got a lot of comments here, so let me see.
Jermaine says, big GCA, let's go. Brandon says, South Florence, big. Thinks we're heading for South Point, South Florence state title. Jonathan says, South Florence have no problem with Gray. South Point or South Florence state championship game. Steven says, South Florence O-line is awesome, and they typically are. A lot of big boys up front there. William says, Gray did not play great against Hilton Head Island. Lots of penalties. Say over 100 yards. Hilton Head was able to score at will on most drives. Only a couple punts in the game, both sides. He's got South Florence dominating this one. Steven says, South Florence rolls. Haven't seen them play the last 2 years. That OL controls the line of scrimmage. Travis has got South Florence 28-21. Courtney's going South Florence 35-28.
Let's see.
I wanted to mention this too, guys. Don't forget, Gray Collegiate has never lost a 4A playoff game.
Oh, wow.
Remember, they weren't in the playoffs last year. They have not. So first time in, they're on a hot streak.
They haven't lost any at any classification.
That's right. DJ Lau's got South Florence by 20. Kevin says South Florence 35-14. South's a fun team to watch.
Going to be another epic one. Let's go to the next game, guys.
Our fifth Kona game of the week, a 5A Division I matchup, John. A rematch from earlier on in the season and what was a classic at that point, and we get round two between James Island and Somerville. The Trojans, 12-1 on the season, taking on the 11-2 Somerville Green Wave. James Island, a 45-42 win over Stratford last week. Somerville, a 29-28 win over Carolina Forest. Both teams have kind of pulled some rabbits out of their hat lately. Last week, Somerville blocks a punt late. They score. They go for two. They get the lead there in the fourth quarter and win that football game. James Island, 2 weeks ago, they beat Sumter in a comeback fashion in double overtime. Last week, they kick a last-second field goal to beat Stratford, man. A game that was in the rain in week 7. Somerville won 14-9. One of our games league back in week 7 as well. I think we're in for just another classic thriller on Friday, John.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to this game. This is, and I feel weird saying this because football is a game I've always thought, hey, it's to be playing the elements. If it's raining, playing the rain. If it's snowing, playing the snow. I'm hoping, and I'm hoping all the bad weather will be out of here by the time Friday rolls around, and we won't have the rain for this matchup, and we can really see these two teams go at it, because I think this James Island offense, yeah, they played overtime 2 weeks ago, but they still put up 28 in regulation, put up 45 last week. They got something going offensively.
Let me give you a stat here real quick, John, that helps you out there.
Yeah.
We always think about James Island more of a defensive-minded team. We think about Somerville, really the explosive offense, yada, yada. How about this? James Island is averaging more points per game than Somerville right now. James Island averaging 40, Somerville's at 39. So how about that Trojan offense, like you said?
How you like that? And I think this Somerville defense is, I'm not going to say vulnerable in that makes it seem like they're not good. They're very good. But I think James Island's got a chance to really put up some points in this game. And I think the defense is good enough to win it. I think they've got a revenge. You talk about a chip on their shoulder. I think they got a big one. I feel like they really thought they could have won that game, and they really could have, right? In the last two games, it seems like a little bit of destiny for them. Somerville probably feels the same way after what happened last Friday with Carolina Forest. If this game was on the island, I would feel much better about picking James Island. I don't feel good about any of these games that I'm picking. I think James Island's going to get done. I think the offense is actually going to score some points, and I think we're going to see a relatively high-scoring game. I think we're going to see like a 35-28, 31-28 kind of game here.
Last week for James Island, quarterback Connor Dancer, the Tulsa commit, 22 for 31, 433, 4 touchdowns passing. Also had a rushing touchdown. So now 2 weeks ago against Sumter, 6 touchdowns. Last week against Stratford, 5 touchdowns. He's getting it done for that offense for sure. Running back Malachi Washington, 18 for 123 and a touchdown. Receiver Raphael Puyu, 5 for 207 and 2 touchdowns. Sam Crumpton, 9 for 167 and a touchdown. James Hurto, also a touchdown catch. Defensively, Sinclair Wright up front. You got linebacker Bryson Bowers. DBs Deuce Prelo, Zamarius Gladden, and Jazavian Brown. And we know they always have a good kicker and punter, including last week when they saw them make a game winner there for James Island. On the Somerville side, quarterback Max Stafford, a guy that can make all the throws, super athletic there for the Green Wave. Running back, a duo, Javen Williams and Cam Grayson. Williams is the number one guy, but Grayson has played really well down the stretch, a couple big games for them, including last week's game-winning touchdown and two-point conversion. Receivers, Jaden Kelly Murray, DeLanne Lord, and Taru Davis. Big playmakers out wide. Defensively, JT Williams and Tyree Patton at linebacker, Eli Presley, Josiah Taylor, Jacaden Pendergrass, and Jordan Ravenel at defensive back. Ravenel, I believe, had a pick to seal the game last week for Coach Rafferty's bunch there. This is a really interesting game, John. Like you said, it feels like both teams are kind of on a not Cinderella's not the word, but almost like a destiny type thing where Somerville, you get the rematch against the team that beat you. Ashley Ridge a couple weeks back, you beat them, and then you get a block punt and a 2-point conversion to win last week. And I mentioned James Island, the double overtime, and then the field goal to win at the buzzer. I mean, just crazy runs these two guys have been on, man. And I'm super excited. This is a matchup I think we're going to see a lot of over the next couple of years. Jamar McCoy at James Island and Ian Rafferty at Somerville have done a fantastic job with these programs. They've really built these teams back up to state title contenders. I mean, you're right here playing for a lower state title. Somerville obviously got there to the state championship game last year, had a good showing against Dutch Fork. James Island has not quite been to this level yet, but now here they are, man. This is a team that you could tell going into the playoffs, they wanted this rematch with Somerville. Like when they saw the bracket come out, they're like, hey, we want to get the lower state final. We want to play the Green Wave again. I was taken aback when I saw them 2 weeks ago. Did not realize how good the offense was. Like Dantzler is a playmaker. He can make all the throws. And then Puyu out wide is one of the best receivers I've seen all year long. Like he can make plays, man. Contested catches, great route runner. He's a stud. I think he's just a sophomore. He's going to be really good here for Coach McCoy the next couple of years. But then Somerville. We just talked about it a minute ago with Oceanside Collegiate and with South Florence. There's something to be said for being in this spot before and to making it to that next level. And these guys, Somerville, Javen Williams, Jaden Kelly Murray, that group expects to win. They expect it to be here. They expect to play for a state title. This is going to be a fantastic ball game. Like you said, I think probably higher scoring than some people think. I'm thinking in 35-31, 30, 38-35. I think points are going to be on the board in this game. It should be a fantastic one. Jerel, who do you like in this game? What are you thinking about this one? Because I don't know which way I want to go. Two fantastic programs, two fantastic coaches as well. Two teams that are on the rise, you could say.
Well, like a couple of weeks ago, I kind of was going to ride with the hot hand at Somerville. And then last week happened with both of their games, and I don't know who to pick now. Somerville getting by with a 1-point win, and then last-second field goal getting James Island here to this point makes it more difficult. But I'm going to go with John. I'm going to go with James Island. I think they're going to be able to do this one.
You're picking against your guys, Jerel.
I know. Here's the thing. You guys know me. I'm not the brightest. So, I don't typically, my head's telling me to go with Somerville. Somerville's playing at home, more experience, things like that. But my gut, for some reason, saying James Island. I just like it. Team of destiny. That's I'm rolling with. Just rolling with that. We're at the blackjack table here. I'm just hitting
crazy
things
here.
So
to John McKissick Field, you know that.
Most definitely. So yeah, I'm going James Island here. I think they're going to win it. Team of destiny. Fun stuff.
We're talking about a team with a good defense, and now they're playing really good offense.
Yeah. I mean, they're both playing for a lower state championship game. Again, it's not like I'm going out on a limb here. It's a really good football team.
Yeah. I
got to make your
picked
pick.
against James Island 2 weeks ago, and they won. And Coach McCoy called me out on it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Come on.
Give me James Island. Let's book it. Let's make it 3 ways.
Come on.
Let's go Trojans.
Let's go. Come to the door.
Let's go on the video. What's the chat saying, Jerel? This is going to be a fantastic. I mean, that may be my most excited for game of the week is the one right there. Man, that's going to be a massive matchup. Robin says, let's go James Island Trojans football. PTI.
Yeah. City Slicker says James Island has no chance of winning over at Somerville. but you can go read his comment on YouTube if you want to.
About you playing over there, man. Tough place to play. Travis got James Island 38-28. Tim says Wave. Kristen's going Wave wins for the second time this year. What did the defense stop in the scramble around for Carolina Forest? Yeah, the defense, I mean, and when you guys scored, someone able to take that lead, I think there's a good bit of time left, and they had to stop Carolina Forest a couple times late to win that football game. They've stepped up big on that side of the football. Courtney's got James Island 35-30. Somerville by 10 says Moses. Robin says, that's right, guys. J.I., you know. Willie says James Island. What does they do? Is it J.I. to the sky? Is that what they say?
We got some James Island people in here. It seems pretty split in the chat, but it's going to be fun. I mean, we've really enjoyed watching, Lower State, especially that Charleston area. Those teams play in 5A this year.
Made us look smart this year too. Put it that way, guys.
Really, Stratford, James Island, Somerville, all these guys. Berkeley had great seasons, but that's all we got for the comments on this game, guys.
Once again, guys, our Kona games of the week, we had Lewisville at Lamar, Fairfield-Central at Strom, Thurmond, Lawrence at Oceanside Collegiate, Gray Collegiate at South Florence, and then James Island at Somerville. If you missed any of those, you can go back to the beginning of the show. Once we're finished, go check them out. They'll live at the beginning forever. Jerel, let's thank the friends of the program. Come back and go through the rest of this week's slate, 5A through 1A, and talk about all the big games across the Palmetto State.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
With 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville, Carolina Orthopaedic and Neurosurgical Associates, Kona offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. Go to kona.care to learn more.
John, let's take a look at the 5A Division 1 bracket. Go through that one, and then we'll move down from there if that works for you.
Yeah, so we're looking at the top side of the bracket, Dutch Fork hosting Dorman in this game. Dorman's they got some good athleticism. I watched the Dutch Fork Burns game last Friday. Burns was just painfully close the entire game and just could not make plays offensively to get them really in a chance to win that game late. But the defense for Burns played really well. And I've seen Dutch Fork play a couple times now this year, and they're a great team. They are a great team, and I don't know if there's a team in the state that finds ways to win better than they do. In games like this, I mean, it was 7-0 over Burns, and Burns had some chances where they had some momentum, and Dutch Fork squashed them. That Irmo game a couple weeks ago. Irmo had chances. They had chances to win that game. They had chances at the very end of the game. Yeah. 2 plays inside the 5-yard line. Dutch Fork finds a way to win the game. I think we see a pretty close game in Irmo. I think we're going to see a low-scoring game. I think Dorman will make a couple plays. I think we'll see more plays made on the defensive side of the football. But I think, once again, Dutch Fork, I think they make a couple more plays. They make enough plays in this game. I think it'll be a fun game to be at, fun game to watch. But I like Dutch Fork doing this one.
Dorman, they want to run the football. I think Nick Means, I want to say, set the touchdown record this year for the Cavaliers. He's had a fantastic season there for Coach Morris. Run a lot of 11 personnel, a lot of 12 personnel. Really want to get involved with the ground attack there. Quarterback Meek Slidell has come in, played a really solid brand of football for them this year. Smart with the football, can move a little bit as well. He's a good weapon for them. Defensively, I like Christian Waring up front a bunch. I know he missed some time early on in the year. He's a big-time playmaker for them. The secondary is really good. Contavian Anderson, the Clemson commit, and the youngster, the junior Jabez Thomas. Super athletic, super smooth on the back end as well. Had a couple picks in a game I saw against Gaffney earlier on this year for the Cavaliers. Dutch Fork has really gotten the run game going lately with Wilson, Henry, and Jackson Notch running the football as well. Receiver Stone Furry is one of the best around. He's a really good target out wide for them. Offensive line, led by Brody Lorenzo in the middle of the center spot. He is a stud, just a young sophomore. He's going to get better and better for Coach Knotts there. Defensively, the defensive line is awesome with Walker and Cesario and Worth. The linebacker, Raleigh Salter, has been a playmaker for a couple of years now for them. Defensively, Mario Anderson. And then the freshman, Tadrick Gibson, a guy to watch. I like him a lot as well. They held a really talented Burns rushing attack to 100 yards last week, John. That is a super impressive feat against Trey Segura and that crew there out of Duncan. I think Dorman, I think Dutch Fork at home, I think wins this football game. I do think it's going to be low scoring. I'm thinking like a 21-10, 17-14. Like, I think it's low scoring football. Both teams want to run it. Could be a super fast game. I like Dutch Fork at home to win the football game. The two similar teams, the style they want to play. I like the Silver Foxes at home in that one. Jerel, comments from the chat or from you on 5A Division 1. So we already hit on that other game, James Allen, Somerville.
No, big thing for me. I want to give Coach Morris a shout out. I mean, He's a young guy. We were able to talk to him when he got hired there. And Dorman's a big job. It's a lot of pressure surrounding that. And, he'd been on staff there a long time, being an alum and coming into that program with all that pressure. Didn't start out the best, but he's always surrounded himself with veteran coaches. Getting Coach, Michael Lancaster to come back and coach that offensive line again. I think it's really gelled for him, and his team has played well. These are two teams that match up really similarly. I mean, like they're very, very close identically. I mean, they're really good up front on both sides, want to run the football. I mean, don't ask a lot, got dynamic playmakers on the back end on the defense. So again, I think it's going to be low scoring like you guys mentioned. I think it's just going to be a really good football game. But again, like a lot of people say, we're not picking against Tom Knotts here. We don't do that anymore.
And and we saw these teams play a lot of high leverage playoff games in the past. Some state titles. In fact, Coach Gutshaw was there. I want to say I saw Thomas Grant had a stat that I think Dorman may have given Dutch Fork their last home playoff loss several years ago. I don't know for a fact. I have to double check that. I want to say I saw that. But yeah, Brandon mentions Dorman won big over Ridgeview. They did. That was a Ridgeview team that we were all very high on, and Dorman handled them pretty easily. This Cavs bunch is the real deal. Like for a while, early on in the season, I think we were all kind of skeptical. We didn't really know what they had, but they have continued to impress and get better and better. They're a solid group, man. You've got to be able to get to this point, but the Cavs are the real deal playing good football. Travis is Dorman with the upset. Zach said he's learned his lesson this year not picking against Tom Knott. So that's a smart man. Brent said he's still going Dutch Fort and everybody against Coach Knott. Chris, I should have been at D3 last week. Game of the year. It's going to be short. Yeah, Gaffney Northwestern game. I was following that on my phone, and, man, it got to be wild late there for sure. Chris says, give me Dorman. He's like, just kidding. I'll take Dorman by 14. I like it.
Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Let's look down at 5A Division 2 now, John. We didn't break down either one of those games, so we'll have a little bit more to talk about here in Division 2.
Yeah, in the upper state, Indian Land will travel to Northwestern. And this was a game that happened earlier in the season. Did not go Indian Land's way. It was another game where Northwestern put up 50 plus and just a non-competitive game. I didn't get to see that game. I don't know what happened for that game to get away from Indian Land like it did, because they've got a great defense. They've got a good defense. I saw them play earlier in the year against Fort Mill. A really good team, really good quarterback. You got Sequel Patterson playing over there as well. Really good talent. I really, really like this Indian Land team. I'm not surprised they're in this game. I don't know if they get blown out like they did in the first time around, but I just don't see them beating Northwestern. I don't see them beating the Trojans. I think it's at least a 2-score game again.
Yeah, that Week 10 matchup was 51-13 in the favor of the Trojans there. Indian Land, they've been great the past couple of weeks, John. They beat a good Hillcrest team pretty handily. Last week came from behind late to beat a really solid TL Hanna group. They've been super explosive on offense. Matt Casilla, Sequel Patterson, Hayden Morris, Wilson as well out wide for them. They are really getting it done. I think Casilla threw for 400-plus yards, and Patterson came in late, threw a 90-yard touchdown to Morris to win the game. Man, just nuts what they were able to do on the offensive side there for Coach Hastings. And defensively, you mentioned they've got some playmakers as well with Connor and Patterson. And is it Mike Thomas? Is that right, Jerel, John, the kid that Clemson just offered?
Sure.
Jerel, if you've got the name, feel free to pop in here. But if not, we'll move on. On the Northwestern side, they started running the football more with the, quarterback Xavier Means last week had 5 total touchdowns. Nigel Wilson had a good game running. Also, they started to get Cameron Vance involved with the run game a little bit too. I think he had around 10 or 11 carries last week for Coach Walford's bunch there. He's a weapon out wide, as we know. Defensively, Tamarian Watkins, McKinnon, Cannon, McFadden, all playmakers there for the Trojans. Northwestern at home is always a tough place to play. I mean, D3 Stadium, as Chris just mentioned, is a really great atmosphere there. I'm sure it'll be great because these teams are so close in proximity. They're region rivals here. It should be a fantastic crowd. But now I do think it could be a little bit closer, but I don't know how you get 38 points better in 4 weeks. That's a heck of a turnaround there for Indian Land. Hats off to Coach Hastings. I mean, this is a heck of a run for them, a team that a lot of folks weren't talking a lot about preseason. To make it all the way to the upper state final, man, what they have done is really great. That's a program that's been on the rise, it feels like. But Northwestern, I mean, they're the big dog right now, and they're the defending state champ. I'm thinking Northwestern at home wins the game again. I think Vance, Watkins, that crew too much. I think Northwestern wins this football game. They move on to the state title. Jerel, do you want to pop in now? Yeah, so you pop in now. They'll go back into that other game as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. Michael Foster. That's Mike there.
Foster, not Thomas. Sorry, Mike. He's a playmaker as well there on defense for the Warriors bunch.
Yeah, currently an ECU commit, so we'll see how long that holds up. But the question I have for you guys is like, how much magic does Patterson have left that could potentially get these guys over the hump to beat Northwestern? I mean, he legitimately did it all for them to win that football game on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, the game-winning touchdown pass, the game-sealing pick as well. And it was something we talked about a few weeks back heading into that Northwestern game. I remember saying this to you guys on the show, like, you got to get him more touches. Like, he is the guy. And it didn't happen, obviously, that night, but maybe it's happened the last couple of weeks a little bit. I mean, just he's got to be special again. And he has the talent to do it. I mean, he's a legit top-tier recruit going to South Carolina, man, a big-time playmaker. He's got to touch the ball 10, 15 times probably, and he's got to be explosive with those touches as well. Chris says Northwestern puts up 50+ again this week. That offense is tough, Chris, as you saw firsthand. Brandon has a great game by Sequel versus TL. Northwestern wins big again. Yep, Sequel is a baller. Good call there, Steven. Northwestern big, says Travis Smith. Northwestern wins 38-35, says Courtney. Chris says Northwestern O-line, D-line match has been pretty good as well. Yes, they really are. And that defensive line had to replace a lot from last year's bunch. They're still really good there. I want to read you some of these stats from last week, guys, just to show how explosive they were against TL Hanna. Matt Casilla, 24 for 32, 407 passing, 3 touchdowns. Sequel Patterson, 2 for 2 for 93 and a touchdown. Receivers, Patterson, 9 for 141 and a touchdown. Kenneth Wilson, 6 for 130 and a touchdown. Hayden Morris, 8 for 197 and 2 touchdowns. Massive numbers against TL Hanna. I think Northwestern's defense better than TL Hanna's. I'm going Trojans at home in this game.
Yeah, they got to do it again to win, and that phone's going to be ringing one more time. Let's go to the next game, guys.
What do you have the other half of that bracket in 5A Division II, John?
That's on the bottom half of the bracket. We've got Irmo hosting Berkeley. Again, we talked about Indian Land. Very impressive for them to get to the upper state championship. Got to give hats off to the Stacks. You know, we've talked about them the last 2 years now as being a program that has continually to improve. And here they are in the lower state championship. Awesome season for them. I feel like they were high on the radar at the beginning of the year. And then they kind of fell off a little bit. And then when the playoffs came around, they stepped it back up. Really, really good football team. Only 2 losses on the year. I really like this Irmo team, though. They're very good offensively. They lost a ton last year from the offense, and they haven't fallen off a whole lot this year. Definitely not the same offense, but they're still very good. But that defensive line at Irmo, that's what makes the difference for me. I think that defensive line at Irmo is the difference in this game. I think the Yellow Jackets win this one at home. It should be a good game. Should be a pretty close game. Some good stars on the field in this one, but I like the Yellow Jackets.
You mentioned the Irmo defense. I mean, they're playing lights out each and every week. You know, Jaden Bryant, Major Taylor, Tyrone Jennings, CJ Currence, Jay Naylor Arrington. Jamar Grissett had 3 picks last week for that group, man. He is getting it done for sure. Offensively, Amir White had a big game. We mentioned, you know, Dre Dobson at quarterback, Malik Miller, Corey Miller, all big-time athletes there for Coach Brand's bunch. On the Berkeley side, Henry Rivers, 3 for 200, ran for 135 total touchdowns last week for Berkeley. Really getting it done running and throwing. I think their defense with Jihad Sneed, McHugh, Jackson Rivers, and crew can keep Berkeley in this football game. Can they win it? I don't know, because that Irmo defense is so good. I think the defense can keep them in it. A stat for you here, John. Berkeley, they've scored on defense 6 games in a row, and they have won the turnover margin every game this year, even in their 2 losses. That's a great stat to have as a team, man. If you get a defensive score in a game like this, that might just turn the tide. I'm going Irmo, though, still at home. I think a little deeper right now than that Berkeley program. Could be a fantastic ball game. I think Irmo wins this one over at Hawkins Stadium. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 5A Division II, including that Berkeley-Irmo game?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. I think Irmo wins this game. Again, like John mentioned, that D-line, you just love what they're doing up front there, just really getting after it. And I think that's what you have to do. You got to get after Rivers and get some pressure on him to win this game. I think that this is just a program that's just built, for success in these type of moments. I think this Berkeley bunch is good. They still might be a year away. And I think the bracket was pretty favorable until it was not in this championship game here. So give me Irmo, and I think that's the way it's going to go.
Travis has Irmo 35-17.
That's all we got on this game, really, other than this one as well.
Brandon says Berkeley smoked Myrtle Beach. Yeah, we kind of saw that coming. That Seahawks team, not at the level some they've had in the past, for sure.
For sure. Well, yeah, let's keep it rolling, guys.
Looking down at 4A now, John.
Yeah, the 4A game, we've got on the upper side of the bracket, South Point, the Stallions hosting Westside. Can't give this Westside program enough credit for what they have done after the start of the season. They have really, really turned it around. I don't know what the win streak is at now. 9 maybe?
9 in a row, yes. 0-4 to 9-4. Yeah.
Awesome job. They got up early on Camden last week, held off a big-time comeback. I think they won that game in overtime, right?
Yeah, blocked a field goal, then made a field goal to win.
Yeah. Incredible sequence there for them to win this game. But the road, I think, ends for them on Friday. This South Point team is really, really good. Awesome defensively. Talked about Jazavian Currents all year. Arguably the best player in the state. The guy's a difference maker on the offense side of the football, and especially on defense. South Point's going to be too much for them in this one.
And a big factor, John, last year, Westside had their way with South Point, 35-14. And I'm sure Coach Colin Stallion's bunch wants a little get back in this one. They remember that game. They got handled from the get. That was a game I was at, and it did not go their way pretty quickly in that one. I think South Point this year is the more talented football team. Westside, a heck of a run, probably a year away from getting back to that, top tier they need to be at. But they've got some playmakers. Barry Woods has gotten better. Keelan Powell has really stepped up. Jacob Lewis and that crew out wide has done a fantastic job for Coach Lane. I think we keep overlooking that Westside defense. They've been really good on that side of the football, too. Holding some high-powered offenses kind of in check the last couple of weeks has really helped them go on this run. But you mentioned the Stallions, man, so much firepower offensively with the Browns. You got Ratliff and you got Vassell back and Currents, of course, and what they can do offensively to match up with what they can do on defense, which is even better. Got 2 really good D linemen. They got all the athletes on the back end there, man. Caden Watkins and crew. That team is really, really good. KJ Berg as well. I thought he killed a man last week in the highlight we saw from South Point, man. KJ Berg with a huge hit on the kickoff. I think South Point at home gets a little revenge. I think they're a little better than Westside right now. Hats off to Westside, Coach Lane, what they've done to make this run. But I think the Stallions have a few more athletes at this point. I think South Point at home gets some revenge. I think they call it D3 South, the Corral over there, I believe is what they call it. So I like South Point in that one. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 4A?
Again, I want to show some love to the coaches in this one. I think Coach Lane has done the best job in the state this year, rallying his team. They're young. They're used to winning. I mean, they've developed that culture over there at Westside. Did not start off the season, the right way, the way they planned for it to go. But then, again, 9 wins in a row, and here they are playing for upper state championship again. So just want to give a shout out to Coach Lane. What do they say? Tough people win over there. They've definitely shown some extreme toughness this year. But also Coach Collins. I mean, took a difficult job there. I mean, stepping out from Coach Holloman's shoes at a program that is used to its state championship or bust at South Point. I saw them play. I mean, this is obviously they're playing that Lenora Seller South Florence game. This is probably about 3 years ago. And I mean, that team was in disarray. They had a bunch of talent, but it just did not go their way. And they've rallied. I mean, he's just continued to build a great staff, continued the excellence of that program. And here they are. I think they're the team to beat, obviously in all of 4A this year. But I really just wanted to shout out those 2 coaches because they've done a phenomenal job with these programs.
Great point there. Any comments from the chat on 4A, Jerel? DJ says South Point playing all the pressure and nothing to lose, Rams by 3. Yeah, I mean, if you're West Side, you're playing with house money. I mean, you know, from where you started off to get to this point, man, nobody expected that for sure. Sure doing that. Travis is going West Side with the upset. Ray also going West Side upset. Curtis thinks South Point has too much firepower. I agree. Just a lot of talent right now there for the Stallions.
A lot of comments. Sorry, guys. Trying to filter this one.
31-28 West Side double overtime, says DJ Loud.
The people want upsets this week. That has been the theme of the show. Let's keep going, guys.
Let's look down at the 3A bracket now, John.
Yeah, on the Upper State side, really, really fun matchup here. We've got Powdersville hosting Belton Honeypath, a BHP team that we expected to be here at this point. Powdersville team, not so much. They have played really well through the playoffs, really well last week. I think if anyone, the Upper State has outdone them from an impressive standpoint, it's been a BHP. They've equally been impressive after a regular season where there just wasn't a whole lot to go off of. I've not been down on the Bears this year. I just haven't believed that they were as good as they were last year because of the talent that they lost last year, most notably Henderson. They're really, really good again. I think BHP wins this game because of their defense. I think the defense makes enough plays to win this game. Quarterback has been – I think the quarterback play at BHP is really elevated this year.
Yes.
Because a couple years ago, I saw him play. Last year, we saw him play. I didn't think it was that good. It was, hey, they're relying on the run game. You make them throw the ball, you got a good chance at beating them. This year in the playoffs, that's not the case. He's been putting the ball in the air. He's been doing a really good job. I like the Bears to win this game, but I think it's going to be a really, really close game. You know, Coach Musterbunts is not going to give up anything. This should be a really fun game, hopefully a down-to-the-wire kind of game. I'm going to go with the Bears.
Yeah, you mentioned quarterback Noah Thomas has played a fantastic football this year for the Bears, man. Last week, 10 for 15, another touchdown. Just really getting it done. Smart with the football. MJ Earl, 100-plus yards on the ground. And you mentioned the defense, John. We got to shout them out. They held Aiden Gibson and Woodruff to 38 total rushing yards, 16 from Gibson. Fantastic job by that Bears defense. Jakari Anderson had a big game for them. They are really, really impressive at what they've done this season. On the Powdersville side, I mean, there may not be a team that's still playing at this point in the season that has flown under the radar as much as they have. Like, I feel like they just have not been talked about a ton, just across the state. Yet here they are playing for the Upper State Championship, man. And what they bring to the table out wide with their weapons. Like, they've got some really talented skill guys. I know Waldrop had 5 touchdowns rushing last week for them. They had Tavius Williams out wide, had a big-time game for them. Kagan Reed, the quarterback, is a stud. They are a really talented offensive football team. And defensively, they've come along really nicely for Coach Nimmer as well. I'm intrigued to see what BHP's pass defense looks like. Because I don't think they've played a team with as many weapons as this Powdersville team has. I know they played Westside way back in the season where Westside wasn't really where they are now. Hard to judge too much off of that. But I'm intrigued to see how they match up with that pass offense, because I think that's really what the game's going to come down to. Like, we know BHP is going to score some points. Like, they have so much talent with Watson Martin and Thomas and Earl and that crew there. But can they get enough stops? Can Powdersville match them score for score? That's what it's come down to. And, I don't pick against Powdersville a lot because I love that program. I love what they've done there. The way that they have built it has been the right way, it feels like. But I think BHP is on a mission. Like, they've really impressed me the last couple of weeks. I think they win this game, a close one. I'm thinking some points in this game. I don't think it'll be a blowout 34-3 like last week. I think we're thinking a little bit tighter on this matchup. But I think BHP, with that defense, gets it done, like you said, John. I like what they're doing there. I like the brand of football they're playing there for Coach Blackston right now. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on that matchup?
Yeah, I'm a BHP believer as well. I mean, they've proven it throughout the season. I mean, we went through preseason. We started doing our predictions for where we'd be at this point, And we called a lot of rematches in different classifications, but we didn't call a title game rematch here because of BHP mainly. We didn't think they'd be able to get back with what they lost. And we keep talking about obviously losing Henderson on offense. They lost a lot of key pieces on defense too.
Yeah.
And there's still Ty Kelly, Latham. Yes. So, I mean, these guys just reloaded. So, I mean, they've been fantastic. I think BHP is going to win this game. But again, if Powdersville comes out and does it, I would not be shocked because that is a team that they love playing that with that chip on their shoulder, the underdog card. I mean, and they play it well. So BHP's made me a believer. Sorry, Courtney. We're going to pick you guys now. You've been yelling at us all year. You made us believers. You guys keep winning, and you keep winning in impressive fashion. So we'll see if you guys can do it again and stamp your ticket back to Orangeburg.
You know, and we saw this game last year, John. Or was it you and me, John, or you and me, Jerel, that saw BHP?
We went over to BHP.
Okay, yes, we saw this game in BHP won by a couple scores, but I feel like Powdersville was kind of in the game, had a couple things not go their way on the turnover front, and just kind of got out of hand late. But they were right there, had a real shot to make it a really good ball game. I know they're looking for a little revenge as well. Got to mention some of those guys on defense for Powdersville as well, with Jaden McGreer and Wirtz as well. They do a fantastic job there on defense for Coach Nimmer. They really improved, like I said. But I think BHP though BHP on the road. Wait a minute now. Powdersville's at home, huh? Powdersville's at home. That's a good atmosphere, Jerel. That's a good atmosphere,
right.
John.
Great atmosphere.
Love that atmosphere.
I'm still going with the Bears in this one.
I'll take BHP. I think BHP wins this game. But I like the matchup. I like this matchup a lot. It should be a really good one. Courtney says best defense in 3A. Brennan says BHP 38-17. Trevor says Powdersville 34-31. Courtney says Big Bears 49-3. Of course, everybody thought last week would be close as well. BHP defense is unreal. It certainly is. They're playing great football, shutting down everybody lately. Moses says Powdersville by 2 touchdowns. Bulldog says very wrong about BHP last week. I think a lot of us were. I know even that I know John and Jerel, y'all both picked BHP. I don't think we saw that kind of game coming for sure. Yeah. Nick says BHP 42-21. DJ says Tajay Watts, number 5 best player in the state. He is a legit superstar, man. Both sides of the football can get it done. Electric playmaker there for Coach Blackston's crew.
For sure.
One of our players of the week earlier on in the year as well.
Most definitely. Well, let's keep the show moving along, guys.
Yeah, let's do a quick shout-out, friends of the program. Jerel, come back and look through the 2A and 1A slate.
Preferred Home Services.
Schedule your sewer drain clearing with Preferred Home Services today. If we can't clear it, it's free.
Electrical, plumbing, cooling too.
Go, 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 Preferred.
Looking for top-notch sports gear and uniforms? Look no further than First Team Sports. With 30 years of serving the Carolinas, First Team Sports is your local full-service dealer. From youth teams to colleges, we've got you covered with team uniforms, staff apparel, Letterman jackets, sports equipment, and facility branding. Visit our local store in Greenville or firstteamsc.com. Make First Team your first choice.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
Let's look down at the 2A ranks now, John.
Yeah, our lower state matchup, we've got Hampton County hosting Central Pageland. These are two teams that have had a great season, great playoffs. We had some doubts about the Central Pageland Eagles, and here they are. I was really impressed with their win last week against Philip Simmons. A good defense from the Iron Horses, and they put up a boatload of points. This should be a fun game, but I'm not betting against the Hurricanes. Man, they have been so good this year. I think they win this game at home. I think they got a great chance to win the state championship next week as well. Give me Hampton County.
A fantastic football game here, I think, John. You mentioned Hampton County and Jalen Singletary. 3 more touchdowns last week. He's having a monster season for Coach Hannon's bunch. Terrell Grant at quarterback has done a fantastic job for them as well. they're a team that just, it's hard to find a weakness at Hampton County. I mean, they have a really good squad there defensively. Blake and Terry are both playmakers for them. They, we mentioned it early on in the season where they played some really tough non-region games, some bigger squads early on, kind of took their lumps, had those losses early on, but they've really cruised once they hit 2A play and region play, man. They have really blown out a lot of folks. And with those 3 touchdowns, Jalen Singletary now has 42 touchdowns on the season, John. 42 touchdowns on the season. Fantastic job there for the Hurricanes. On the Central side, you want to talk about crazy stats. Offensively, Central had 777 yards last week, 469 rushing, 308 passing. Dwayne Llewellyn, the quarterback, a huge game. Jakari Holloman, Aiden Short, Ashton Wilson, Tavian Moore. Playmaker after playmaker there for Coach Easton's bunch, man. What they did, super impressive. Obviously, they gave up some points to Phillip Simmons, a team that can throw it around a little bit. We know they can score the football, and they did it last week against Central. I'm going to take Central this week. I think, we talked about it. They're playing for bigger calls. Like they kind of got that extra set of, I don't know how to say it, but they've had it rolling this year, man. Playing for Sean, number 5 there. The unfortunate situation. Love what Coach Easton's done, man. That group has been really, really playing good football. Had the kind of the weird loss to Andrew Jackson, kind of a fumble through the end zone type deal there. But outside of that, they play great football. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think if I was Hampton County, what I would do is stack the box, play some cover 0, make Central throw the football. And if you're Central, I'd probably do the same thing. Stack the box and try to make Hampton County throw the football. Who can succeed in that? I don't know. But I think Central goes on the road, gets it done. I'm thinking a shootout. I had this game last week, Central Phillip Simmons in our points factory list. If we're doing it this week, this would be a points factory game as well. I think both teams are going to score a lot of points. I like the Eagles on the road to make it to the state title. Jerel, what do you like? What are you thinking here in this 2A matchup?
Like both these teams, but I like Hampton County a little bit more. I think the Hurricanes going to be able to get it done here. I think obviously Central is supremely talented, but I feel like Hampton County is another program that's kind of been knocking on the door. I feel like that's a theme of the year for me, and that's a team that's really going to break through. I like what Central's building. Love their athletes, but I'm going to go with the Hurricanes in this one.
I'm taking Central. Dwayne Llewellyn, big game on the ground, not passing on the ground this week. The
2 in a row.
This one should be a fantastic ball game. Courtney's got Hampton County 31-14. Carolina Bulldog says, y'all keep picking against Central Eagles. Not me. I got Central Carolina. They'll take Hampton County in that one. Brandon's going with Central as well. Should be undefeated. Kind of gave it to Andrew Jackson, he says there.
That's what we got on this one. Let's go down to 1A.
Looking down at the other 1A game, John, that we didn't break down earlier. What do we got?
Yeah, back in the lower state, Bamberg Earhart hosting Cross. Bamberg Earhart, boy, they put a beat down on a really good Carvers Bay team last week, and Cross beat the team that loves the playoffs, the Johnsonville Flashes, beat them up 42-14. Really impressive win by them too. But I think this is similar to how I feel about the 2A game, the lower state 2A game. Bamberg Earhart's they're good. They're just better. Hampton County's great. They're just, I think, a little bit better, a little bit more consistent than Cross. Same as Hampton County. I think they're a little more consistent than sorry, I'm seeing all these names in my head now.
Cross. Sorry, I forgot what you're talking about.
Cross. I like Bamberg Earhart in this game. I tell you what, for a 1A game, for the amount of talent on the football field, and this is absolutely incredible. This is a high-packed, another game where you got a lot of stars on the football field. But I think the Red Raiders are the team to beat in 1A now with Abbeville out of the picture. I think Bamberg Earhart takes care of business. Cross is good enough to make this a very competitive game, and I think they do. But I like Bamberg to win this one late.
Cross quarterback Tyler Harris, 14 for 15 last week, John. Running back Mekhi Green, athlete Caden Ramsey, the South Carolina commit, is all over the field. He'll take some snaps. He'll run the football. He'll catch the football. He'll play defense, of course. He is a stud and just a freak athlete there for Coach Wright and the Trojans. Defensively, I like defensive lineman Michael Bennett a lot. He is a big-time playmaker for them up front. Broughton and Polite also playmakers on the back end. For the Bamberg Earhart side, Quarterback Brian McMillan every week gets another crazy stat line. And last week it was 466 and 6 touchdowns for him as he leads the Red Raiders. So many weapons around him with Humans and Williams and Bovane and Washington and Can. Defensively, led by McMillan and McGraw and Walker and Cease. This game, it feels like we have two really, really strong defenses. Cross allowed only 69 points all year long, John. Bamberg-Earhart allowed just 75 points all season long, John. Just crazy to think we're in game 14 for these guys, and they're both giving up 75 or less. Unreal there. Bamberg-Earhart held a really strong Carvers Bay rushing attack to 77 yards last week, and that was super impressive. Carvers Bay team we were all really high on. Really nice win for them. I think Bamberg-Earhart, both teams, tons of athletes, like you said. I think the Red Raiders may have a couple more, maybe able to spread them out, use their speed a little bit. I think Bamberg-Earhart wins this game at home. I think the Red Raiders go to the state title. Coach Crosby's bunch is really talented. They've played great football all year long, blown everybody out. I think they get another win this week. I think if you're Cross and you want to win this game, it's going to come down to Caden Ramsey. Can he do something special and legendary? He's going to need to be out of his mind to win this football game. I think Bamberg-Earhart at home wins this game, though. Fantastic 1A ball game on Friday. Jerel, what do you like in this one? What's the chat saying on Cross and Bamberg-Earhart?
Battle of the bigs here, right? We got Big Cross and Big Bamberg going against each other.
That's
man.
right.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I like this Cross program a lot, especially you look at last year's team. I kind of, it's similar to me to BHP, where like you take away like a really, really great player, Carmelo Jones, leaving this bunch, and it feels like this Cross bunch is better than they were last year, a team that advanced. I think Bamberg's just a little bit better. I'm going to go with them in this game. Obviously, them playing at home as well leads credence to it. But I think both of these programs are really good. I think both of these teams are fantastic. And I think this is going to be a really, really tight game. I really do, especially with the defenses. It's probably going to be a shootout. We should probably pick it as a shootout this week with how good these defenses played all year. It typically trends the other way. But I'm excited for this matchup.
Should be a great one. What's the chat saying about the 1A slate, John, or Jerel?
Big time comments here too.
Here it goes. BE says Daniel. Jesse's got Cross, Caden Ramsey commit, ball on both sides of the football. Yeah, he's a stud. If you guys haven't seen him, like he's one of those guys when you see the team, you're like, oh yeah, that's the guy. That's the D1 commit right there.
He's the first one off the bus every time.
Yeah, you realize who he is real quick. He is a stud there. Vincent's got Bamberg by 2 touchdowns. Jesse's got Cross 28-21. Tanisha says Big Cross, that's all. Looking forward to that'll be a great matchup on Friday, Tanisha.
Glad Tanisha's in here. She's always been a Big Cross fan, always in the comments.
Yep, Jesse with the Big Cross as well. Travis says Bamberg with the win. Courtney's got Bamberg winning. Oh, excuse me. He's taking Cross 23-20, says Courtney. Who won 1A Lower State last year? Brandon asked. Yes, it was Cross. Yes, it was. Bamberg by 2 touchdowns, says Vincent. Tanisha's got every Cross game as a home game. I love it. They bring a good crowd. They certainly do. We saw that in Orangeburg last year. Rami says Cross is better than people think. They played them twice this year, and this is the best Bamberg team we've seen in a long time. Yeah, Bamberg is loaded. And it's crazy. We talked about it preseason. We're like, guys, you're losing Chanston Crosby, a big-time quarterback who's going to play at the collegiate level in North Carolina Central. How are you going to replace him? And Brian McMillan has been awesome stepping in, man. And they've really opened up the offense, spread it around, thrown a little bit more than they used to. Super explosive. I love what that Red Raiders bunch brings to the table. They're a really good football team, as is Cross, though as well. Jerel, any other comments on 1A before we kind of move to the next portion of the program?
No more comments, guys.
Yeah, I want to shout out once again, guys, if you missed any of our games of the week, any of our classes, you can go back and check it out when the show's over. Those will be at the beginning of the show. Then also throughout, we'll have timestamps on there on Facebook. Go back and watch it. But, Jerel, let's shout out friends of the program one more time. We'll come back and do some wrap-up here as we roll out of this Round 4 playoff preview show.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. Our Pick'em brought to you each and every week by Hannah Engineering. We're in our playoff Pick'em now. Jerel, let's show our round 3 leaders. We had a 6-way tie with 10 from Ben, Brett, Flash, Michael, Tank, and Tim. A bunch of 9s as well. John led us with 9. I had 8, and Jerel had 8 as well. And now our overall leaders, we have Ben, Daryl, Rashard, Chase, and Garrett all at 26. David, Charles, and Tyler at 25. Then a good group at 24 as well. John and Jerel, 25. I'm with 24. Just a couple weeks left. But, guys, it's a lot of fun to do this. It gives you a reason to watch just not your team, just not your region, but teams across the state. It's a lot of fun to help you keep up with what's going on across the state. We post it every week on our social media, posted in the email we send out as well. Join our Pick'em, brought to you by Hand Engineering. Really appreciate them helping us get that done each and every week. Our polls are always brought to you by First Team Sports. We'll have our final season poll once the playoffs end, brought to you by First Team Sports here in a couple weeks. Shout out to our teams of the week. We had Fairfield-Central, BHP, Loris, and Indian Land, all powered by Preferred Home Services. Then our playoff performers insured by the Georgia Agency. If you guys want to send in those great stat lines on Saturday or Sunday, love to have you do that. We'll post it in our blog. It's on our social media. It's on our website right now. A list of some of the great performances we saw across the state back in round 3. Certainly hope you check that out. I do want to shout out our friends over in SCISA. Our SCISA championships were last week. We had the 8-man winner, WW King, the 1A winner, Williamsburg Academy, the 2A winner, Bethesda Academy. 3A was won by Pinewood Prep, and then 4A by Northwood Academy. Shout out to all of our SCISA state title winners last Friday and Saturday. John, Jerel, any final thoughts from you guys on the upper and lower state championships before we wrap up the program here?
I think I might. Well, I'm not going to steal Jerel's thunder because I think he's going to say it. But we got some awesome matchups this week. Hey, you're going to want to get out of the house Friday. You're going to be with family. Some you like, some you don't like. You love all of them, but Friday you're going to be itching to get out of the house. Go to a game nearby. It's going to be great football all over the place.
John, you could never steal my thunder, man. It never happened. But again, you're listening to us on Tuesday. You got to get out and go watch a game on Friday, especially, after eating those leftovers. Friday, you're going to want to get out and go get some dinner, go watch a game somewhere. You may have to travel a little bit further than you're used to. It might not be a 5 or 10 minute commute. You might have to go 30 plus, but you're going to see some fantastic football regardless of where you decide to go. Even those SCISA fans we got, go watch some high school league football this week. So it's going to be fun. I mean, championships on the line. And again, they always say this, you want to be practicing when the grass is brown in the week of Thanksgiving. That means you've accomplished something. So it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend as well.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. MovinChains.com is our website, our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do a live preview show each and every week, 7:15 p.m. We'll be back next Tuesday previewing the state championships. Cannot wait for that. Hope you guys will tune in next week on Facebook and YouTube. We also have teams of the week, players of the week, games of the week, coach interviews, player interviews, food reviews, all kinds of great stuff for you to check out each and every day on all of our social media platforms. Continue to follow us there and help us to grow this program. Get your Movin The Chains merch right now. Some great Richardson hats, a gray front, a black back, a tan back, also a black front, a couple other options as well. You can see on our social media pages. You can email us, info@movinchains.com, or send us a DM on any platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to do. Get your toboggans right now, a black one, a gray one. Movin The Chains stickers, great for your car, your Yeti, your water bottle, your laptop, whatever you want to put it on will be great. Some awesome hoodies right now, kind of this kind of lighter stone color here, logo front and back. Also a gray version of that one as well. And we have some awesome t-shirts. John's got the gray one on right now. We have a black one here as well, a navy blue and a pink. These all make great Christmas gifts. We'll make sure to get it to you in time. If you order it here in the next few weeks, we'll certainly get it over to you. We have fast shipping, guys. I guarantee that. Order yours today, info@movinchains.com, or send us a DM on any social media platform to order your Movin The Chains merch. Cannot wait for this week. I do want to shout out our friends at Newberry last week. John, I got to talk to Coach Jeter and Coach Mance and Cam behind the cam and and Judra, and lots of great folks from both sides. A lot of fun talking to them. Shout out to Moon Jerel and Khalid Sherman, Demaria Thurmond giving me an interview post-game. Love to talking to those guys. A lot of fun there. A great atmosphere. They always do it right at Newberry. Really enjoyed my time there. Glad I got to see them. If you guys see John and I this Friday, we'll be at South Florence versus Gray Collegiate. Come say hello to us. Love to talk some ball with you. Love to talk about your team or just the football and across the state in general. So hopefully we'll see you out there, and hopefully you guys will run into us and come say hey. But John, anything else for you as we wrap up? Jerel, anything else from you as we wrap up as well?
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, pumped. I mean, it's happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Be
Yes.
safe if you're traveling and things like that. But can't wait for Friday. You know, I'm not going to skip over Turkey Day because that's one of my favorite holidays.
Shout out to YouTube, Jerel. You know you want to.
Got to do it. Got to run it up. We got 1,000. So since we're 4 digits, let's not make it 5. Let's go ahead and make it 5 digits. So let's keep running it up and tell your friends, like Kevin says every week. Just continue to trying to build the brand here so we can bring awareness to the programs, the players, the communities, the coaches, everybody involved with high school football in this state. We think it's some of the best in the country. A lot of people don't realize that it's some of the best in the country. So the more that we're able to do to kind of platform what we do here in South Carolina and these kids, more scholarships, more visibility, and just more that we can do to help anybody. So really excited about what we've been able to do. And thank you all so far for listening. Only one more show, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. What was the old Chris Berman on the count I used to do? And let us be the first to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Let us be the first, guys. So hopefully you all were able to enjoy some football all this week with your family, enjoy some food with your family as well. And like John Jerel both said, hope you get out to a game this week. Love to see you out there. Thankful for you guys, of course. Thankful for John and Jerel and also everybody who tunes in this week. Certainly appreciate you guys for doing that. But for Jerel Hendricks and John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our Movin The Chains Upper and Lower State Championship preview show, talking all things South Carolina high school football. We will see you guys next week for the state titles.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.